Welcome back guys to yet another video with the Time Zone Junkies. I am Malin and this is my husband Alex, for you who don't know us. Today we are making a video in which we will talk about 5 things that we have learned from hitchhiking.
Number 1, the impossible is actually very possible.
Yes it is, and what we mean by that is, well, let's go back 2 years and I will explain what happened then. We were hitchhiking around Thailand. We were inspired by some other travel vloggers who had done it. We were also inspired by a guy who had made an amateur documentary cycling to India and then hitchhiking from there and back to Europe. We didn't think that anyone was doing this. We knew about cyclists, but we didn't know about long distance hitchhikers. We were slightly overwhelmed when we started planning this journey back to Europe.
It's a really long way. I don't know if you guys are aware, but it's like 17 countries in a way.
Yeah.
So it was a big challenge that we were facing.
And today we're also starting a new adventure. We are going to hitchhike all the way to Europe.
We didn't know how long it was gonna take. We didn't know how much money we would need to spend. We didn't know if we would camp a lot because we had prepared ourselves buying camping gear.
So we spent a few days here in Bangkok buying a tent, some sleeping mats and other essentials for camping.
We didn't know how often we would camp, where we would camp, if we would camp, all those things. So it felt super overwhelming. We weren't exactly sure about the route. We knew that we had to cross the Caspian Sea, that we couldn't hitchhike, etc. But we wanted to hitchhike all the way and it was overwhelming. But we did it and the impossible was possible. And this leads us on to number 2. Like we said, we had only heard about one person who had hitchhiked long distance like this. I mean, in modern times, in the times that we're living, we know about the 60s and the 70s where everyone was hitchhiking everywhere, even my dad. Whilst on the road and while starting to do some research online, we realized that there was this web page called HITCHWIKI, a web page where a lot of people post their tips about where to hitchhike from, etc. So then we kind of quickly realized that there are hitchhikers out there. We still weren't sure if there were hitchhikers doing long distance journeys like we were doing. When we were in China, near the border with Kyrgyzstan, we met a couple. She's from Taiwan and he's from Ukraine, right?
Yeah, and they had actually, I think he had hitchhiked from, no, they both hitchhiked from Laos and they went up to Beijing, I think, and then they crossed from Beijing all the way to Kashgar, which I can tell you guys is a very long way. They did it in 7 days. Incredible.
Well, not from Laos, but from Beijing to the other side.
To the other side of China.
That is impressive. Anyways, they were doing a very similar route to us. They were actually hitchhiking back to Europe. And we met up with them in Kyrgyzstan again. So I think they were the first ones. Yeah. And then we connected with another guy. He's Swedish. His name is Kim. He also started in China. He had been hitchhiking around the world for like 5 years. When we heard of him first.
So it's really incredible, the community. And if you go on Facebook and you search hitchhiking, you will find all these different groups and they have thousands and thousands of members who actively hitchhike. It's really incredible actually.
And long distance hitchhikes, it's amazing. And if you go on Instagram and you write in the tag hitchhike or hitchhiking trips or hitchhiking stories, you will find all these amazing people who are doing this. And we've actually connected with quite a few of them, so it's amazing. So we learned that there are loads of hitchhikers out there around our world hitchhiking long distance. Amazing, isn't it?
The third point is that everything works out. Even in the worst situation, you think, oh my god, this cannot get any worse, what's going to happen? Someone turns up, the right person at the right time, that will just make your day and change your day into such a positive thing. It's incredible, really incredible.
Now, we didn't have any extremely difficult days on the road, but we had our moments where we thought we wouldn't get picked up. For example, when we were hitchhiking through Kazakhstan. Very important note in this is that we didn't hitchhike the east of Kazakhstan where it's all green and lush and mountainous and where it's more populated. We started in the middle and we were going towards the desert in the west, towards the Caspian Sea and Azerbaijan. There was nothing. There wasn't much. We were stuck in a heat wave. We were outside of a place called Turkestan. And we actually gave up and contacted a couchsurfing host and stayed with her for a couple of days because it was over 40 degrees Celsius, I think.
We decided not to try to keep going to Kilometres today. I think we're in a bad spot. So we've come to stay at a couchsurfing host friend's place. Here's to 45 degrees heat.
We stayed with her a few days. We managed to recharge our batteries a little bit, get a bit of a kind of cultural experience as well. It was a really nice place. See, we were considering taking a train all the way across to the other side of Kazakhstan, but it seemed like it was fully booked, so we couldn't do that. In the end, we actually decided to carry on hitchhiking.
It was still really, really hot and we weren't sure we were going to get very far. But after a few rides and getting a little bit further into the desert, we even had another hitchhiker with us in a truck that we went in. It was getting quite late. It was getting close to sunset and we weren't really sure if we would actually get another ride. An important note here is that we were outside of Kilometres and we were basically right next to, where were we next to?
Where the Sputnik launch pad or something, and they had all these kind of aeronautic space equipment, and there's lots of military around there, so we were definitely not allowed to camp there.
We filled the car closer to the airspace station. I think we might not be allowed to camp around here.
The other hitchhiker, he got a ride before us because we were filtering water and such, and when you're on your own, sometimes it's faster to get picked up, especially by trucks. We were standing there by the road and then I think 3 trucks pulled into the petrol station where we were next to. And I said to Alex, why don't you run over there and ask them if they have space for us?
So I ran over and it was a mix of languages we spoke. I tried to speak English, that didn't work out. Tried to speak Russian, kind of didn't really work out. And then worked out he was Turkish. And
they were Turkish.
But they were Turkish, and actually that they were going. Actually, when we got in, we didn't realise how far they were going. We thought they were just going to Aktober, which is like on the northwest of Kazakhstan, which is still a very long way.
We had 3,000 kilometers of the Kazakh steppe to conquer, and it was basically just desert, really bad roads with potholes, and we seriously didn't know if we were gonna make it. But they picked us up, and it turned out, we found this out later at night, that they were gonna take us at least 2,000 kilometers.
Yeah.
We might have a ride all the way to the Caspian Sea, which is good because we found out today that we probably would have to go 800 kilometers further than we thought, because the road that Google and Maps me recommended is an old, really bad road. So we're going to sleep in the back of his truck tonight, I think.
So we were thrilled, and the back of their truck was empty and they let us sleep in there. We didn't even have to pitch our tent. If you're interested in watching that video, we can link to it up here. It was a really, really, really cool journey that we had with those guys. And it didn't end there, because in fact, once we arrived in Aturau, where they were gonna get a flight to Russia, and we were gonna continue another 1,000, maybe 800 kilometers to Aktau, where we had to catch a boat and where we were gonna couchsurf as well. It turned out they changed their minds because the flights were too expensive from Aturau and they needed to go to Aktau.
Kazakistan'dayız.
Bak şimdi yapan ben,
Atrava'da.
Eylül sahibi olan
Ama
Üzerine
geldi ayrılık vakti. Bunları şimdi yola koyacağız. Aktar'a yollayacağız bunları.
So instead of going in 3 trucks, we all squeezed in 1 truck and went all the way to Aktau.
These guys, they were going to fly to Istanbul, but it worked out too expensive from Aktau, where we were before. And they rang around trying to find cheaper flights, and actually it's cheapest from Aktau, where we wanted to go. So they are going all the way to Aktau, and they invited us along with them. It's a bit of a tight fit in the cab though. We moved into 1 truck, I guess, to save petrol or whatever else. Here's the tight fit.
Amazing. So we had a shit day, a shit time, stuck in the heat wave, difficult time hitchhiking through Kazakhstan, and we met these amazing people. So it's a complete turnaround.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's really amazing.
Number 4, the world is not as dangerous as media portrays it to be. Every time you open a newspaper or every time you watch the news on TV, they are talking about something negative and they are putting a lot of fear in us. And it's so unnecessary, because generally out there people are really nice and friendly, and that we have learned from hitchhiking. We've been picked up by so many generous people. It's been so much easier than we could ever have imagined it to be. People have invited us to their homes. They have bought us food. They have taken us many kilometers extra out of their way in order to get us to a better spot.
Our drivers today, Erekli, Georgi, have taken us all the way to HITCHHIKERS.
They were going to go 2 kilometers and I think they went
HITCHHIKERS. Tietura.
I think it was like 15 kilometers.
Yeah, 2 kilometers to 15 kilometers. So that's super. Bought us some vegetables, a nice bit of fruitcake that was supposed
And
to
they
be.
had an amazing camping spot for us, but it was taken. They've done so much for us. It's been absolutely amazing. And everyone always asks us, isn't it dangerous to hitchhike? No, it's not dangerous. The world is not so dangerous. It's what you make it, I would say.
And I would also like to say that hitchhiking for us has been a direct route into local experiences. You know, when you go on a bus, a train, an aeroplane, you miss out on those local experiences. Sure, you might chat to the person next to you, but often we're there with our headphones or reading a book, you're not going to speak to anyone.
This guy, we asked him about sleeping on the beach, said it was okay, and when he walked off, when he came back and in Turkish asked if we wanted to come and stay at his house.
So when you hitchhike, you're forced to have these local interactions, you're forced to meet people, you're forced to try and speak to people in different languages. And for us, when we travel, meeting people is one of the most important things, of course, for local people, for local experiences, and hitchhiking is really one of the best ways to do it. This leads us on to point number 5, that people are really friendly to strangers, but not necessarily friendly to their neighbours.
And what do we mean by this? Well, in the previous point, number 4, we were talking about that the world is not as dangerous as media portrays it to be, and that everyone has been very generous to us, helped us out a lot, etc, etc. What we've learned afterwards, after processing all the hitchhiking that we have done, is that we are very fortunate to be white. We're very fortunate to be from Europe, to be Westerners, etc. Because media doesn't portray us as dangerous. Just like media portrays some things or some countries and some people to be very, very dangerous, they portray us, white Caucasians from Europe or the Western world, to be very friendly and not dangerous people. And this really sucks.
Yeah, it's not fair. Everyone should be treated the same. Everyone is equal. People are the same around the world. So it's a really unfair kind of projection that people and countries and the news are putting onto us. It's really a shame.
We've met other, well, not necessarily hitchhikers, but people from other countries who've said to us, or maybe people with darker skins, Middle Eastern people who've said to us, if they would do the same thing, well, not maybe in their countries, but in Europe, for example, they wouldn't get picked up. And there's probably a lot of truth in that.
Yeah, it's such a shame, huh?
It is such a shame.
We had a conversation on the telephone because these guys don't speak English, but he rang up his friend who speaks English, and then he said if he did the same thing with a beard and the outfit he was wearing, people would call him a terrorist, which is very sad.
We have learned from hitchhiking, processing our journeys afterwards, that the world is not always very fair.
To finish on a positive note, we want to say that hitchhiking has opened up the world to us, widened our horizons, and really helped us to learn a lot about ourselves and the world that we live in.
So we want to recommend anyone who feels a bit adventurous to stick your thumbs out and hitch that ride, because it really is an amazing experience. And we want to break down all stereotypes. If you are from a Middle Eastern country, from India, from Africa, from any other country that media portrays as being dangerous places with dangerous people, go out there and hitchhike. Prove to the world that we're all the same. That's what we want to do with hitchhiking, and we would like to do it together.
If everyone could travel, you know, once they travel, they would see that people are the same all around the world. People have the same problems, people have the same worries. We are all the same, we just have different cultures and religions. But if you get out there and you explore and you're open-minded, you will find that people are just nice and people are people everywhere.
It's so random. We got an ice cream each of this ice cream man, so we're very happy. Thank you. Spasiba. And there he goes, our ice cream man.
We've basically just been here for 1 minute and look what we're doing.
Hello, Barev. What did we get? Got
Fish?
got barbecued fish with potato. Fish.
In a car again, really fast, and we're being taken to somewhere where we can camp.
If you want, you can come to sit to my nice today up this in the village.
And we all have hearts and souls and spirits. Anyway, it's getting a little bit cliche here, but I hope you guys know what we mean. We're gonna end the video here. If you have made it all the way here, well done. We're giving you a thumbs up for that. So why don't you just give us a thumbs up as well? Leave a little comment here below. What do you think about hitchhiking? Would you do it? Have you done it? Is it crazy? Would you do an across the world hitchhiking journey? What have you learned from our videos if you have followed us for a while? Please comment below and we will respond. And what else should they do?
And also remember to subscribe and hit the little notification buttons and share this video with a friend. Someone who likes traveling, someone's a little bit adventurous. Pass it on to them, that'd be awesome. We want to spread the love. Really helps us. While we are making awesome videos for you, what you can do for us is to hit the subscribe button, share our video and comment. Anyways, blah blah blah, this is it for now and we will see you in our next video from Myanmar. You can't reach.
No, I can't
Hold on
reach.
guys, let's try that again. Alright, you ready? Boom.